Hello and welcome to Trolls of the Two Tonne Bridges, or TOTTB. My name is John and I'll be your Percival Silverlight today. Happy Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you lovely, lovely, lovely people out there. We hope that it has been a great start to the new year for everybody and everyone's raring to go. We at Troll Towers have some treats lined up for you in the next year, but you'll just have to wait and see. Of course, you can check out all of our social medias on TOTTB Podcast. That's TOTTB Podcast. This week, the party continues their search for evidence of Eliza's cheating. Adventure. The Log of Percival Silverlight. After agreeing to help merchant prince Akeneafa find evidence of cheating within the upcoming dino race, our party divided so that we may conquer. Siliqui, Zippy and Rana made their way to the dino dens of Tiriki Anchorage. Their task was to find Eliza and her dinosaur mount, Bone Cruncher. Once located, they may be able to get a better bead on how she's cheating. I imagine it has gone well. Meanwhile, Taban and I are to find Volo, as he may be able to secure us a meeting with more of the merchant princes. Adventure!
Taban and Percival, tell him what happened.
We head over to the tavern. This is what Sean texted.
No, shush. You tell them what happened. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Right, let's see what happens here.
So we head over to the tavern. We get Taban's stuff. We get a room at the Giggling Squid to put his stuff in, and then we share a moment. It's not uncomfortable, but it is tense.
Oh my.
We move in towards each other, but tense prevails. We shake it off.
Canon, that happened. All of those things happened.
It's all true.
Okay, fair enough. You have your little moment in the Giggling Squid. Taban, I would like a perception check from you, please.
I didn't know I'd have to roll dice this session.
Yeah, what?
Nah,
it took a little while, but yeah, I get round to you guys as well.
All right. I should probably load up my character sheet as well. Hold up.
Did you come prepared for this session at all?
Sure.
I mean, admittedly, you joined this session, and then I just ignored you for the last hour or so.
I had breakfast. I had breakfast, and then that was it.
How delightful!
Yeah, it was a lovely breakfast.
That's all right. One episode, all that John did was went and got himself coffee. That was all his character did.
That is a massive grand total of 6.
Of 6.
Oh, you don't see how great my pecs are then.
Yeah, you've absolutely. In fact, actually, to be honest, it's the pecs that are the problem. You're just like, my God, do you work out? Where do you get your training?
Do you even lift, bro?
I lift drink to face.
Okay. So you notice nothing in particular as you're going about and moving your equipment over to a room at the Giggling Squid. It's quite easy to set up.
So, Taban, I don't know if you've had very much contact with the merchant princes.
I owed money to one before, but I think this is now settled.
Other than Akene, no.
DM, would I?
Nope.
No.
Beyond seeing them at the Colosseum, I suppose I should add, like in the
I
stands.
see them at Colosseum like everybody else.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Well, you see, we've been asked to help out the Order of the Gauntlet, who are a crack team of... okay, they're not really a crack team. They're kind of suffering quite badly, actually, over in the jungle.
You can see in Taban's face, he's kind of lost a little bit of interest and he's picking his teeth.
But basically, we have to talk to all of the merchant princes, or as many as possible.
Yeah.
Taban?
Yeah.
Taban?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. And they are hopefully going to help us get some supplies over to Taban. Are you paying attention to me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Right. So we have to get some supplies from the merchant prince. I'm sure you're not actually even looking at me. Look, stop looking at that.
Looking.
No, stop it. Anyway, so we have to get some supplies from the merchant princes over to where the Order of the Gauntlet actually are. So in 2 days, we have a meeting with, well, I'm assuming all of the merchant princes, which I'm assuming you'll be there for. Is that right?
Everybody else be there?
You certainly will.
Well, I go with you.
Okay. That sounds good to me. Just don't, stab anybody. I'm sure it'll be all good.
I do what is my job. You tell me what job is, I'll do this.
Okay, so no stabby at the moment.
Okay.
Okay. Of course, the other part of this is that we are having to deal with the death curse. Now, what I was thinking was, if we set up a meeting through Volo, who's a lovely chap, you'll love him, he will hopefully be able to set us up meetings with Ifan Talroa and also maybe one of the other merchants. I'm thinking probably Queothe.
Yes.
If we can do that before the actual meeting, then maybe we'll be able to get them on side. Taban? Taban?
Yes.
So Percival really isn't used to people just not listening to him.
Really? You've been hanging out with these three for the last year or so.
But he doesn't notice that they're not listening. He pays no attention to him.
Good point.
It's a different kind of dynamic suddenly, and it's setting Percival off slightly.
Fair enough.
Okay, Taban, right. So, I think you've got it. So, we're going to go in there, but don't mention that we're trying to deal with Eliza and this bone cruncher dinosaur thing. Because we don't want them to suspect a thing.
Okay.
So, we're going to talk to them about the Order of the Gauntlet.
You want me to talk?
No, it's okay. I mean, you can stand there and look really good on those champion pins of yours.
I do look good.
Look good. Pull some moves.
Scratches underneath his neck a little bit.
It is about this time that you make your way up to the Painted Rose, and you find yourselves invited in by the guard at the door. It takes a little moment to scan the main room, and eventually you spot Volo enjoying what looks to be some sort of gourmet breakfast of some kind, and he looks up, sees you, Percival, and there's the recognition, a wave as he invites you to come and join him, and he says, "Oh, why, hello, welcome, Percival Silverlight. It is a pleasure to meet you once again." He wrings your hand.
Yes, it is a pleasure. Yes.
And company. Oh, wait, is it Taban, the famous gladiator?
Yes. I am famous gladiator.
Oh,
I told you would like him.
fabulous. Do you know what? I saw your last battle against the,
Yes.
what was it? The other gladiator. Oh, what was his name? It was barely important, but the way you took him down with the blunt end of your liqueur, that was stunning. Stunning move, good sir.
Andre the Midget.
Not many people able to pull off moves like that, but Taban is very good.
Well, please, pull up a chair, gents.
Okay.
Pull up a chair. Waitress, please. Are you hungry? Do you want a drink? What can I get you?
Yes.
On me, of course.
Yes.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Volo. Absolutely delightful.
Waitress brings over some drinks for you as Volo continues this sort of this run of both praise for your gladiatorial fight, Taban, and Percival's many writing accomplishments. And he eventually says, "So, what can I do for you, gentlemen, today?"
Yeah, Percival's writing accomplishments as opposed to Percival's adventures.
What can I do for you, gentlemen, today? Is there anything I can do? Anything you'd like?
Yes.
I would like you to talk more about how good a fighter I am.
Well, I would certainly be here for quite some time. Not as long, perhaps, as talking about the adventures of Mr. Silverlight here, but certainly I will sing your praises. Though you must excuse me, I do have other things in my schedule for today. Forgive me. I know, a terrible host, but business is business, of course. And
Not at all, Volo.
What can I do for you? You mentioned there was something I could help with.
Yes, I mean, other than singing the praises of the great Taban here, I would actually like to talk to you with regards to a possible favour that you extended us the other day. It feels like months ago, but, if possible, would you be able to... Taban, stop cleaning yourself. It's quite rude in mixed company.
Percival, he's tabaxi. It's what they do.
What we do?
Oh, well, I've never met a tabaxi really before, so...
I stop.
Oh, give it time. They're a dime a penny every one of them here.
I do not know what this dime a penny means.
Dime or penny.
Dino penny.
A dino penny, yes. I butchered whatever phrase that was supposed to be.
Dino gold piece.
You'll see plenty of them here in Nianzaro. But you wish to meet with Merchant Princess, did you say?
That's correct, yes. Well, you offered us the opportunity, as you were quite au fait with them yourself.
What good fortune for you. I happen to be meeting 2 Merchant Princes today, as a matter of fact.
Ah, may I ask which?
Well, the first one is the lovely Ghelfi, the quite voluptuous young merchant prince of food commerce here in the city, and Ifan, later this evening, has invited me for dinner. Both, I hope, are wishing to purchase my guide to monsters.
I see. Well, as luck would have it, Volo, these are exactly the people that I need to see.
Oh, fascinating. What strange twists of fate that must be.
Who would have thunk it?
Well, you would be more than welcome, Mr. Silverlight, to come as my honoured guest. Though, strictly speaking, of course, this is going to be, of course, a business meeting. I will endeavour to turn the business to your own business, but, of course, I am trying to, of course, sell my own books. I know you must be used to that yourself, of course.
Well,
but,
yes, of course. Let me assist you, Volo. Perhaps I could be your wingman.
That would be most spectacular. And Taban, if you would accompany us, that would certainly lend weight to my cause, having the famous gladiators as a bouncer of sorts. Not that you're really protecting us,
Yes.
of course. There's no need. But to have you there would give an impression, you know?
I'm happy to go, but finish food first, or...
Oh, of course, please. I've only just started my breakfast myself.
Okay.
Now, Volo, I realise that this may be too much. I'm not entirely certain, but it's worth asking nonetheless. Do you think that there may be some slots open for my companions?
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is there
Do you mean a meeting?
In the meeting. They're
Oh, in the meeting. Oh, I see. Oh, yes. Now I'm with you.
It wasn't you.
I was trying to work out, like, slots open? What? Hey?
It was the winking and finger guns that was the real problem with that sentence.
Yeah. No, it's a bit already through me. Sorry.
None of us are going to spit roast you, Volo. Don't worry. Jesus.
Volo,
That'll be cut.
No. Probably won't.
Possibly not.
I can certainly ask Ifan whether or not he would be willing for your companions to join us at dinner tonight. He is, of course, providing food for myself. Taking 2 should certainly be okay, but it's worth mentioning to him that perhaps he will be having more guests so he can prepare adequately for the dinner.
Indeed.
For Ghelfi, however, she doesn't like to be surprised, and in fact, I am literally going to that meeting right after this breakfast. Unless your friends are with you, we could perhaps see if they can accompany us. Maybe not with us, perhaps, but they could be in the room, perhaps.
Where's he going to meet her?
You don't know. You're not with us.
You don't know.
You're not there, Siliquay.
No, I'm just wondering
Get
that
out,
if we're already down the bottom, that if they're going that way, they might bump into us anyway. But just don't know if they're going that way.
Let me ask Volo, ghost of Siliquay. Volo, something's just come to mind. Whereabouts is it that you're having this meeting?
Well, I'm meeting Ghelfi at the public bathhouse. It's apparently a favourite of hers for conducting meetings.
I'm sure everything will go brilliantly if I come in.
However, a fan has invited me to dinner at his own private villa.
Ah, I see. Well, I can certainly see that could be an issue. Perhaps if us two could go meet you with Ghelfi, and then a little bit later with a fan, would you be able to get in contact with them, and we could perhaps arrange something? So maybe even one or two others could come along.
Of course. Hold on one moment. I'll have one of my assistants send a message to Ifan.
Is Ifan the one that lives next door, but one to Wakanga?
Ghelfi is next to Wakanga.
Yep.
Ifan is the one across the road. That makes sense from Ghelfi.
That one.
So this one.
Yeah.
I love the fact the merchant princes all live in a gated community.
Yeah, it's a nice posh
They
bit.
do. They do. They're the ruling class. They can do what they like. As Volo sort of he toddles off to go and apparently let one of his assistants send off a message. Is there anything you guys want to talk about amongst yourselves while he's gone?
Well, before he goes off, is just one question.
Yes, Taban?
How much you pay?
How much I pay?
You want Taban as bodyguard. How much you pay?
Oh no, you misunderstand me, Taban. I'm not asking you to actually bodyguard me. Just to give the impression that I am being bodyguarded.
How much you pay for impression?
And Volo is clearly quite flustered.
It's okay, chaps. Look, I understand that there may be a slight confusion over this. Taban, Volo here is doing us a favour. So we need to talk to the merchant princes, and Volo is being incredibly generous with his time and his guest list. So no need for payment. Not yet. That comes later, okay?
I understand. I'm very sorry.
Good kitty.
I'm glad we could. Good kitty. Do you know what? Never mind. Between you two. Hey, do you know what happens at the Giggling Squid stays at the Giggling Squid?
Not always.
Volo seems a little relieved, perhaps slightly indecently so, that he's not having to pay for your services, Taban. But he makes a bow and graciously says, "My apologies for the miscommunication, Taban," and he heads on off. Is there anything you guys do want to say to each other while he is absent?
Basically, Taban, look, if he gets stabbed, you don't have to jump in front of the knife.
I knew this.
I mean, if you were his bodyguard, that might be expected.
I knew I was not actually bodyguard. I just want to see if he pay.
Well, that's fair enough. Maybe I should try that next time.
I've always found you don't get if you don't ask.
Very true.
Shall we go for a drink?
Let's have a drink.
After a few moments, Volo comes back and you will continue your meal, and over the course of the meal, Volo goes over some of the adventures that Percival has taken part in.
Two more airs.
Including things like Salad and what was the other one? What was the Blade Runner one? Blade Runner. That was
Sword
that was
Dancer.
Sword
Salad.
Dancer. Yes.
Sword Dancer. That was it.
Yeah,
yes.
Slardy, wasn't
And,
it? Or Slide? Yeah, Slardy.
Finders of the Lost Box, the Boonies.
And as he's talking through this, he makes reference to Van. You pick up on that occasionally he pats Percival's hand and says, and again, your late wife was involved in some of these adventures. Man, you can pick up from this that Percival had some love, a wife that has supposedly has now passed away. Percival, how would you react to those expressions of sympathy from Volo?
He would he would essentially be like, well, thank you very much. I do appreciate your thoughts. Obviously, that was a little while ago now. So, yes, things have moved on.
It's a tragic thing, and I'm very much glad to see that you are back in the swing of things, my dear Percival.
Yes, I mean, as you well know, it's been a few years, but got to get back in the saddle some point, haven't you?
Indeed we do. Indeed we do. Isn't that right, Taban?
Yes. Percival, you say you lose wife?
Yes.
I too lose wife.
I'm sorry to hear that, Taban. How long was this?
One day she get up, she leave, and she don't come back. No idea where she is.
Oh no, Taban, that's not quite what he means. That's slightly different.
Probably living in a neighbour's house. Or just locked.
Could be. I don't see her anymore.
Locked in a garage somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know where she is. She leave. I understand. You lose wife. I lose wife too.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be a little bit more permanent on my side, but that's beside the point.
Passing that over, you finish the rest of your meal, and Volo invites you to join him as he heads out, heading across the city back to the bathhouse. And with you guys making your journey back across the city, we will cut back now to the Dino Dens with Siliqui, Zibby, and Rana. And
just before you get into that, has there been
course.
sound effects on the whole time, and it's only just because I've only just gone and rolled 20 that I can hear them?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, cool.
It's just been ambiance. It doesn't matter.
I love it though. It makes a real difference suddenly. Actually, wish I'd done that from the start. Okay.
Well, for next time.
I feel like I'm there.
Back at the Dino Dens. Zibby, Rana, and Siliqui, as you guys have sort of moved away from the training pen, from the trainers that Zibby, you have taken offence at for how they've justified the whipping of this creature. Where exactly are you guys going to be heading to now? Are you just kind of milling around? Are you heading back to somewhere in particular? What's your plan right now?
Zibby's marching towards the nearest bar.
Zibby, hold on, Zibby.
I like to forget that I saw this gift that Toby's just shared. Just why?
I was just trying to find a GIF to represent a sentence that somebody said, and that just popped up randomly, and I was just like, that is so unspeakable that it has to be shared.
I have to share it.
Because I don't want to have nightmares on my own. I want to.
So thanks for sharing, Toby.
Company, so yeah, enjoy that absolute horror show. Just for any listeners,
I'm going to go back to your faces because that's less horrifying.
To the podcast, I have just put a picture of my mum up in Discord, and the response from everyone else is extremely unfair. I mean, kill it with fire.
Head moving like that.
Kill it with fire before it lays eggs.
Okay.
Anyway.
Back to the game.
I mean, we have a little bit of time to kill. So I think Rana, we have a bit of time to kill because it's still fairly early in the morning, isn't it? Because we've gone straight there.
Yeah, it is still fairly early in the morning. It'll be a little while until the afternoon.
Okay. Whereabouts in the city? Oh, we're up in the northern bit of the city, aren't we, near the Dino Pens?
No, that's the southeast.
Oh, so yes, I am sorry. I'd zoomed out too much. Okay, who's pinging?
This is where you are.
Yeah. Sorry, here.
Down
at the
there.
bottom.
Yes, I see.
Yeah, so that's the gate to it, and that's the pens.
So I mean, all we can really do is find a pub or something to wait, because we've only got an hour or two, and it's probably there's no shops that are close enough, I think, because the souk's a fair walk away, isn't it?
It's fair distance, yeah.
It's a fair distance. I'm not sure it's worth the effort to do that. So I think we just have to kill time until we can go back later. So just whatever.
Should we go and put Polly back in her stable? Is it worth putting her away first? And then I wanted to show you where that place with the gold roof is. There are a few stalls around there, but
it is at this point that while you are discussing this and trying to work out what you're going to do next, you feel a tap on your shoulder, Zibby, and you turn and you see that the Tabaxi trainer has come up to you and has said, "Hi, would it be all right if we talked somewhere?"
Mm-hmm.
He says this to all of you. He doesn't necessarily say it straight to Zibby, but he tapped Zibby's shoulder.
Zibby gives him a really hard stare, a bit like Paddington Bear would do.
God,
what?
I understand that reference.
That what?
It's withering.
You need to watch both Paddington Bear movies. They're awesome. No, it's just a hard stare. That's it. It's not withering or anything like that. It's just a hard stare, and just makes people go, "Oh, okay." Deliberately doesn't look behind him to the dino den and said, "Follow me, but you're buying," and heads towards the giggling squid.
Okey-dokey. You wander back to the giggling squid. There's a little bit of awkwardness because, of course, this trainer is just kind of not really initiating conversation with you guys. He's following you to your favourite pub. Soliloquy, I'd like you to make a perception check for me, please.
certainly.
Am I rolling as well?
Nope, it's just soliloquy.
Why can't I ever throw good on perception at the moment? 6 and 5, 11.
Okay. You make your way back to the giggling squid.
Damn it!
And you arrive. I could just be fucking with you. You make your way back to the giggling squid, and as you're going through, you see the Tabaxi is again. He's not standing to his full height. He's slightly hunched over, but you can see he's quite a sort of slim build, very, very much the sort of opposite of Taban in terms of size. But he is sort of dressed up in these, Is he
the after photo of Taban on the weight loss sites? You know, you got the before and after. Is the other Tabaxi the after?
No, not quite that bad. It's not anorexic, but he looks very much more the sort of like lithe, sort of feline look to him. And he seems to be hunching slightly as he follows you, trying almost to make himself look a little bit smaller. You're not entirely sure if that is just because of the kind of disapproval that's coming off of Zibby, or just that's how he generally carries himself. You get back to the giggling squid, you find stabling for Holly once again, and you find somewhere to take some drinks. And he buys you all a drink and sort of sips his a little nervously, not sure where to begin by the looks of things.
Ataku, is that right? Atagu, sorry. So, how can we help? Are you okay?
It's not necessarily help I'm after. I just want to, what you said there, and he gestures towards Zibby. What you said there is, I'm afraid, kind of true. And it's been bothering me for some time. Patience and I have helped Eliza for a fair amount of her racing years, and she wants to win at races, you know. She bought this bone cruncher, this Allosaurus, hoping that it would drum up interest in her, be, you know, something flashy. But she races it too hard. I've always thought so. Part of the race is that you can get better results, faster results from your ride if you lash them while you're racing, but more often than not, it can cause the animal to, get rather angry with you. And it's there that she loses her edge. And I suppose what I want to say is that I'm sorry to the animal, I guess. I'm sorry that's the impression you have of Eliza. I mean, she's a good rider, and she's a good person. And, as I say, she's won several races in the past, but with Bone Cruncher...
Has she only ever won when she's been hitting?
Not necessarily. She has won in the past for several years. It's only in the past couple of months she's been having this streak of not winning the Unchained races.
Do you know what might have happened? Has she been hitting Bone Cruncher too much? Has he lost respect for her? Why the changes now?
Well, it's a mixture of things, I think. But the main thing, I think, is Big Honker. The same time that she unveiled Bone Cruncher as the Allosaurus of the race, as her statement, her attraction-seeking ride for the Unchained events, Tyrek bought Big Honker. And Eliza's competitive. And she pushed Bone Cruncher as fast as she could, and she loses control.
So she's threatened by Big Honker.
Perhaps. Certainly would be my interpretation of it. She certainly loses her focus when she's racing nowadays, and it's both me and Patience have been worried about her performance. But she's gotten better, and she looks to you, Zibby, and she says she has gotten better. You notice there she's barely whipping her at all now. At last, something seems to have clicked between them.
Zibby looks at him again and goes, "So what's changed then?"
The connection made between a rider and their mount. I can't fathom it, personally. Don't know. I could point to something specific that she's done. Maybe the feed she's given him? Perhaps. Though she's not necessarily changed that exactly. Perhaps Big Cruncher has finally accepted his role as her mount.
Big Cruncher?
Bone Cruncher.
Bone Cruncher, sorry.
Bone Cruncher.
Wished you're not there.
I hear the Percival's ghost in my hero now as well.
I'm watching you all.
With this tomorrow's race, do you think she is likely to win, or do you think she's likely to lose again to Big Honker?
The track record is against her. Big Honker's won every time against her so far. Tyrek's just got that much more of a connection, but I don't know, this week I got a good feeling about it. Got a feeling this is her moment. She's really actually started to improve on her times around the training ground this week. You can roll insight. So either two of you can roll insight, or one of you can roll it with advantage.
I've got +5 on insight. What have you got?
Actually, no, sod that. Each of you can roll your own insight, because it's down to yourself. Yeah, you're not exactly helping each other work out what's going on.
So I've got 13.
I've got 19.
Rana, you making one?
Rana's just thrown a percentile dice. D100.
I accidentally rolled a D100.
So you've got 47.
Oh, nice.
I got a nat 20 plus 4, so 24.
Very nice. Okay, so Natalia, you're sort of
Soliloquy.
You're as you're soliloquy. Sorry, as you're watching Otagu talk, you're looking out for any potential deception on Otagu's part, but in general, as far as you can tell, he seems to be speaking honestly. You can't detect any potential falsehoods in there. Zibby and Rana, however, you're looking in his eyes, you know for a fact that is his view. He essentially is of the belief that Eliza has somehow gotten a better connection with Bone Cruncher, and you can see in his eyes that part of the reason he has come to say this to you is sort of by way of apology, to sort of say to Zibby in particular, you are correct that she has, been handling him poorly in the past, but that now she will be getting better.
Rana says, when is Bone Cruncher fed?
Bone Cruncher is fed once every day.
When?
It's usually at the evening. They prefer to have their meal before going to sleep. They sort of digest in their sleep.
What does Bone Cruncher eat?
The usual fare that we give to any of our meat eaters. Depends on what is immediately available. Most often it is a mixture of axe beak and the occasional ankylosaurus cut from the pastoral pastures. That's the word I wanted.
Rana sort of looks thoughtful. and just doesn't say any more.
Okay. Zibby, are you going to say anything particular at this point? Because he's looking as if he's making some sort of apology and hoping you might accept it.
Zibby's going to look at me and go, for sake of curiosity, is there anything different in the routine for Bone Cruncher? Or is anybody new been hanging around with Eliza and Ifan?
He has to think about that. And no, I can think of nobody that has particularly been hanging out with her.
And no change in their routine?
I can't speak for Eliza's whole routine, but Patience and I handle Bone Cruncher practically all day. And I can tell you for a fact there's been no change to the way we've kept the creature.
Who supplies the food?
Who supplies the food?
Right.
The Ifan does. It is Ifan's creatures that are slaughtered for the meat markets, and therefore Ifan is the one that puts up the meat for the consumption of the racers. The racers independently buy the dinosaurs from them. They, of course, buy it from Ifan, but that comes as part of the fees of owning one of his racing dinosaurs.
So I'm guessing then he's not personally involved in supplying the food for the dinosaurs, but...
Oh God, no. Ifan doesn't do any of the work. He pays us. He is the merchant prince of this particular trade, but he does none of the work himself.
No, you misunderstand. I understand entirely that he wouldn't be involved in the physical manual labour of providing the food for the dinosaurs. Of course not. He's an old man. But is he closely involved in what is fed to Bone Cruncher? Does he have a vested interest?
Not especially. I mean, he is Eliza's backer as a racer, but he doesn't have. In that regard, yes. And you can see he's actually looking a little confused at the question, because he's the one that owns the dinosaurs and the food source for that dinosaur. So yes, he is, and yes, he is invested, but not overly so.
Rana sort of under the tables, just sort of taps Zibby's sort of leg slightly.
Zibby, you feel a tap on your leg.
Roll perception.
It's a bloody cats again.
Roll Constitution to see if you're wounded. Rana is surprisingly strong.
Your leg falls off.
Or just to sort of reduce the throat flow conversation, and Rana says, I don't think there is more information to be had here, but perhaps we can find out more later. And sort of attempts to smile, but sort of, it's a bit of a wooden smile, because Rana doesn't really do subtle, but he's trying, bless him.
Zibby sees what you're trying to do with your face and realises that that's your, look at me, I'm a friendly person. Looks at Ataka and just says, hey, don't mind me, I'm just still a wee bit annoyed about the state of that animal. I appreciate you coming and talking to us about it. I really do. Don't mistake me at all. But yeah, I'm just a wee bit cross, if you follow.
Atagu stands up and says to you, that's quite all right. I appreciate you listening and hearing me out. It's good to get off my chest, but like I say, I've got a good feeling about this week. So I suppose it's my duty to say, place a bet on Eliza if you want to win tomorrow. He smiles and heads on out, unless you have anything else you wish to call him back to quickly say.
No.
Nope. When he's gone, Rana says, I cannot do so now. I will need to rest this evening and gather my thoughts, he says. But I noticed when I watched her act with the beast, with Big Cruncher,
Bone Cruncher.
Bone Cruncher.
Hardly matters, but yep.
Yeah. That the bond between them was barely there, yet the beast ran perfectly, as though in a daze. I think perhaps something has been done to it. But they said that magic is tested for. Yes?
Aye.
Magic may be tested for, but perhaps poison is not. There are herbs, there are poisons which will dull the mind, which will change how one sees or thinks. Tomorrow morning, I will be able to check if the meat is poisoned or tainted. But in order to do so, we would need to acquire some of the meat.
Can I check as well? Firstly, I don't want anything to be too dangerous for you, Rana. I don't want to make you sick and really, really poorly. But secondly, I know this is going to sound really weird. As Bone Cruncher has been the last one in the paddock that's been trained, could you take a sample of Bone Cruncher's poo? I'm wondering if we could find out from the poo if there's been any poison or anything like that. If we could take it to somebody, if they would know.
Natalia, I'm just gonna cut in here. Have you seen the last whisper I sent you?
No. I just went rogue.
Maybe have a quick read of that.
Told you the whole backstory and plot. It's all there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but no. I mean, someone like Jessamine, she specialises in poisons. Would she not be able to find out if there's poison in the poo, or would? I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
I mean,
you know,
CSI Pharaoh.
The point that Rana was saying is that Rana literally has a spell that he can do that is literally, it is, well, hold on, it is detect poison and disease. Mm-hmm. It's literally, for the duration, you can sense the presence and location of poisonous creatures and diseases within 30 feet of you. Mm-hmm. You can also identify the kind of poisonous creature or disease. So you literally, it penetrates barriers and it's an AoE. Everything, you detect anything that is poisonous or contains poison within 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So potentially, in fact, now that I've just read the description in full, potentially it could be cast in the presence of the dinosaur. If a dinosaur is poisoned, according to my reading of the spell, it would detect whether or not it's poisoned. I suspect that the DM might not interpret the spell in accordance with that once it's been ingested, but that's a DM call.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. All I can say to that is that you can certainly try.
Oh no!
Well, I think, but
it's going to be like that, is it?
Well, Anna, just in case you can't get any of the food tomorrow that the Bone Cruncher eats, it may be that something slipped into their food once it is about to go to Bone Cruncher. If Rana, for some reason, can't get a sample of Bone Cruncher's food, it's worth having a bit of poo as well, because surely that same spell would also detect whether there's poison or magic or whatever in that poo. Or disease in the poo.
Get the poo.
It goes in this end.
Poo.
It still comes out the other end.
If we find out that wee Bone Cruncher has been poisoned, I do have a spell that can remove the effects of poison.
That's fun.
Lesser restoration is wonderful.
Okay, so over at the public bathhouse, Tavern and Percival, you guys have followed Volo down through the city once again. Volo is, as you go down, he's pointing out a few different sites that you can see around the city. It's kind of pointless, you realise, because Tavern, you know the city well enough that you know most of the buildings that are there. Percival, the buildings that he points out are buildings that you are already aware of. So things like he points out, there's the Colosseum, and there's this is the Grand Souk, and here is the, of course, Malar's Throat, one of the ways into the jungle, and of course the Golden Hall atop its mighty hill. You make your way down to the public bathhouse, and you enter, and it's this gorgeous place. Taban, you have what's your opinion on baths, Taban?
Oh, he's a cat, isn't he? Ooh.
I am okay. I am okay with baths.
You're okay with baths?
I like to have a little sit in the water. I'm not like many. I like to be clean.
Okay, so for you as well, then you are also familiar with this bathhouse. It is a public bathhouse, as I say, for the residents of Port Nyanzara. Most of the merchant ward, for instance, use this public bathhouse. The reception area is set up. You have the attendants there that are toga-clad individuals that sort of look to you and say, "Good morning. 3 of you, excellent. If you would like to make any donations to the upkeep of the public bathhouse, there is to one side. You are shown that there is this quite large clamshell that has a number of different types of gold and silver and copper pieces in it. You can put in as much as you feel like you can pay or would like to pay to the upkeep. There's no standard fee. However, the receptionist does let you know that masseuses are available for... Hold on. Are available today for the price of 4 gold pieces today.
I take 2.
You take 2?
Yes.
As in you take 2 masseuses?
Yes, please.
A man after my own heart.
Excellent. The assistant offers you a little tab and he says to you, male or female?
Yes.
Definitely a man after my own heart.
One of each, I see, of course. I'll put you down for... Okay, so you have those. So, sir, room 8 for you when you are available. And
Is drinks available too?
Volo waves off the masseuse, saying that he is there purely for business. Percival, are you going to take?
No. Although
You're not going to partake of the masseuses?
No, I'm not going to partake of
You need me?
I mean, you could join us if you want to. I think that there might be some kind of tables nearby.
Okay.
Keep an eye out.
Tables, Volo interjects here. Oh, no. Queerthay conducts her business in the bath.
Oh,
You're
fair
trying
enough.
to sit naked against a table rather than in the bath. Be quite weird to just sit there naked at a table in a bath.
No massage tables. No massage tables. Not like a bar.
We're having a meeting. Next to the bath, naked.
It is one of Queerthay's little quirks. Is she always says you can't trust a businessman if you cannot see everything.
Okay. Then massage wait. I go with Percival to take care of business first.
Okay.
No problem.
You are led through the changing areas and you are asked to take off your clothes, and there is a locker system so that you can retrieve them again afterwards. You head through the other room and you enter the main hall, the sort of main bathing area, and there are these sort of 6 great big bathing pools, and you can see at the far end one of them is particularly empty except for one woman, and Volo heads straight over towards her. About the bathing halls, there are a couple other people, but the 2 baths at the end where Queerthay is sat are completely empty, and you can see there's a couple of guards standing there that are not naked. They are in full dress up, just in case, clearly sort of standing there. You can see as you're walking past them, they are sweltering in their armour. They stand there resolute to protect the merchant prince in case. Vola comes over and he says, "My dear Queerthay, it's so delightful for you to meet me. I hope you do not mind, but I brought 2 of my two guests with me here. This is Percival Silverlight, the famous author, and Tavern here, the incredible champion of the gladiatorium, the Colosseum here."
I am champion.
Queerthay looks up at you, and she is this quite stunning Chultan woman with this sort of large mane of dark black hair, and she sort of looks coolly at you. She's sort of leaning back, both arms resting on the wall behind her as she sits there, and through the smoke you can see she's very calm and very sure of herself as she sits there and looks at you and says, "Hello, I did not realize you would be bringing company, but all the same, if they are friends of yours, do join us." And she gestures to the seats. So it's like a jacuzzi in that you have the sort of seats around the outside edges of the pool. And she gestures for you to sit beside her. Percival and Taban, can you both roll me a perception check, please, as you get into the bath?
12.
12, okie dokie. Percival?
Yeah, 10.
10. Okay, Percival. She's hot. She is incredibly hot. Not just from the heat of the pool, but she is, even through the water, you can tell she is a stunningly attractive young lady.
Have I seen her before in the baths?
No, you haven't. This is not a woman you have met before. Any of you have met before up to this point.
Okay.
And you can sort of see as you sit in the bath and look at her, you see she is actually man-spreading on the seat. It's clearly like a sign of just the complete relaxed and calm that she has. And you're practically breathless with how gorgeous this woman is. Taban, what you notice, in addition to Percival, there's a little bit odd, is that, for one thing, you, with your fur, you've come in here and you can feel the heat. Like, it's starting to get into you, and, you feel that sweat starting to come down. And as you sit down and you're looking towards Ghelfi, what you notice about her is that, well, yes, she is a very beautiful woman. She doesn't appear to be sweating at all. The only actual moisture on her is that moisture that comes from the water she is sitting in. She herself seems perfectly cool and relaxed. It strikes you as peculiar as you sort of sit down and sit across from her.
As I lower myself in, I go into the middle first and dunk myself completely under, and then come back up. Pushing all the water out of my hair before I shake it off a little bit and then sit down.
Hair spiky.
She smiles slightly at you as you do that and says, "The water is gorgeous, perfectly temperatured. It's good to see someone enjoy these baths as much as I do."
It's very warm.
Tell me, Taban, did you sneak a peek while you were down there, or you just that was an innocent just
roll an investigation,
just washing yourself?
What can I say? When you are presented so with a vision, then you take in all that you can.
Okay.
Do not judge me. I am but a simple man with simple needs.
Ghelfi doesn't adjust her position at all, so seems perfectly relaxed regardless of what your intentions were with that. As you take your seats, Volo immediately launches into a little clearly prepared speech. Well, prepared as much as Volo prepares for speaking.
2 ales, please.
Not quite that kind of place. Somebody does come along, but they is with a drink of water, no ale.
Oh, there's newsies.
It's because you don't know there's a special hand gesture.
Sitting in water. Why would I drink water if I'm sitting in it?
Do you want to drink your bath water? Do you know what's in jacuzzis, man? I would not drink jacuzzi water. Anyway.
Take water where I can get it.
Good point. Would you sit there and just like drink it with the tongue thing, just like blah, 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 blah. Volo, as I say, starts selling his book essentially, and between the sort of bit of haggling that goes on and the sort of exaggeration that seems to come from Volo, the two of you gather that this is, to be honest, quite mundane, quite boring stuff initially, because Volo is just focused on trying to sell his books. He seems to be looking to the merchant princes to buy some of his stock to sell themselves in Portney and Zaro. I'd like you both to roll an insight check, please.
Ooh, okay.
17.
17?
14.
14. As the talk goes on, you are both quite capable of recognizing that Ghelfi does not seem particularly interested in buying Volo's book. She is a merchant prince of consumable goods, of food, right, of raw materials, rather than potentially actual literature. And while she jokes occasionally that she thinks perhaps Wakanga would be interested in his work, she herself has no interest.
I would like to say that every now and again, I Percival will be like, his writing is second to none, and things like that. It's just kind of being the wingman that he did actually promise Volo that he would try to be.
All right, okay. Roll me a persuasion, please. Taban, are you joining in with us in particular, or are you just sort of sitting there
I'm not
entertaining yourself?
Frankly, I don't think Taban is paying too much attention to what's going on. He's just sort of sat there enjoying the water that he's sat in, a bit miffed that he can't get an ale.
Yeah.
And just almost as if, right, I'm here, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, they'll call on me if they need me type thing. He's not paying too much mind to it.
So,
of course.
Greg, Mr. DM, as per our discussion that we did have, the next time that I changed over to my next level, I have changed my proficiency from intimidation to persuasion.
Okay, yep.
Is that cool?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Cool. Right. So I actually get a +4 on this now.
What did you get?
Natural one.
7 total.
So he's been gearing up.
Oh, you really set yourself up for that one, John.
I did. I really did.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Oh, yeah.
Querthe, she smiles at you.
I'm probably not giving it much.
Unfortunately, she smiles at the attempt, and she smiles in that way that sort of says, "I can see what you're doing. I understand. I understand you're trying to help him here." But she politely declines to buy any of Volo's books. And as the haggling sort of winds down, and Volo seems he's a little miffed, but he seems generally to just be okay. Fair enough. That's your boundaries.
Not to worry, Volo. We've gotten in with Wakanga as well, so perhaps we can help with that.
Indeed, you do. And, well, if you are disinclined to acquiesce to my request, I instead pass over to Mr. Silverlight here, who has, pardon me, my lady, another proposition for your attention. Volo almost literally sort of passes to you and lets you speak as Querthe turns towards you.
My dear Prince Querthe, I am honoured to be in your presence, as is my friend here, Taban. Isn't that right, Taban?
Yes.
There you go.
Indeed.
Now, I have a request for you, if you will. I am sure that you're aware that in the next couple of days there is to be a meeting set up by Lyric Dashlin regarding the Order of the Gauntlet and potentially helping them.
Oh, I see. So, you're one of the, if my sources tell me correctly, Defenders of the Throat.
Indeed.
The Fisherman's Friends, I believe.
We have been known by that and many other names.
Working title. Yeah.
I see.
It may change.
Quite a breath of fresh air.
Yes. The lockets.
The tunes. Yeah.
Yes,
Soothers.
I am aware. I am aware of this meeting and of the Order's supposed plight. And is that why you have come here? Why Volo's brought you along?
Partly, my dear. Now, I did request Volo. He was kind enough to offer his assistance with regards to this, as he is a dear friend. Given I only met him the other day.
Volo's there just like nodding enthusiastically.
Oh, yes, yeah, totally. The thing is, Querthe, is that we have been into the jungles of Chult already. For overall, our intention is to seek out and perhaps destroy the death curse. He pauses for dramatic effect.
Querthe looks at you and just blinks slowly, not in a way of sort of reacting to what you said. And then there's an odd moment. She half turns her head and whispers something. And what's odd is that you don't see who she whispered to. And she turns back to you again.
Could I hear it?
No, she whispered, and she's across the room from you. You don't catch what was said. You just notice that as it sort of happens. You see it, but you don't really understand what just happened because, as far as you could tell, she just turned her head, whispered something, and turned back again. But she doesn't say anything else to you directly.
Okay. Now, as you may know, there have been several other expeditions out to the jungle already. Unfortunately, they have all failed. And me and my companions are now charged with trying to find this so-called death curse. Initially, it didn't seem like there was any strong indication that it was indeed in Chult, as I'm sure you've heard the rumours, and an awful lot of rumours suggesting it isn't.
Indeed. It is something of a surprise to hear you say with such certainty that it is here.
I'm sure you're aware of Grandfather Zatembe and the Templar Savras.
Oh, that old man. Indeed I am.
Are you not convinced of his abilities in scrying?
Of course I'm convinced of his abilities. He's simply part of the old Ortnian Zaro.
I see.
Outdated.
Perhaps that's a conversation to continue momentarily. Nonetheless, we did partake in a mass vision
Wild
of
trip.
the a wild banging trip. We all got out of our gourd and found ourselves flying across the jungle.
I'm sorry, I must interject here. What is it that you want, Mr. Silverlight?
Well, two parts, really. Me and my associates are to try and find this death curse, which we do now have confirmation is in Chult, which is part the first. We need help. Part the second is indeed the Order of the Gauntlet and the assistance that they require. For we did come across Camp Vengeance whilst out in the jungles, and they are in a sorry state, let me tell you.
And what exactly can I do to aid the Order or yourself?
Well, let me just remind myself, she does do medicine and things like that, doesn't she?
It's food
she
as well,
does
doesn't she?
have. It is food. It is insect repellent. It is things
Hedge.
like, beer supplies.
Hedge, sorry.
Beer.
Hedge, you know what I mean.
And yes, so there would be a certain amount of medical supplies that she could provide with that. She is generally in charge of material goods.
Yes, this is what I thought. Okay, well, my dear Coethe, unfortunately, the Order of the Gauntlet have been quite ill-prepared. They wish to set up some form of supply chain to them. And I can tell you from first-hand experience that they desperately need insect repellent and perhaps clean water and food. We've assisted them as well as we can, but as a small group of people, there's only been so much we can do. Obviously, with people such as yourself on side, they might actually be able to make a dent in the zombie population currently overrunning Chult.
Well, if the Order of the Gauntlet are in need of my supplies, there is, of course, nothing stopping them from buying my goods.
This is very true, although I believe they are running very low on funds, and perhaps they require some kind of good favour in their stead. I believe us as a team, the Heroes of the Throat, I know you've heard of us, we are indeed looking to help out with this. Maybe we could do you a favour.
You could do me a favour in return for selling my goods at a lower price?
Possibly.
An intriguing proposition. And yet, what favour? And here the first time she leans forward, brings down her arms so that they rest on her knees, and she leans forward to you, delicately pressing her arms closer together. What could you do for me?
Well, as I'm sure you're aware, we are rather adept at sword and
Pork sword.
sorcery. Pork sword and no. And we have already managed to save various people at the throat. If there is something that we could assist with regards to protection or maybe retrieving something you've lost.
I am also a very accomplished lover.
Taban here is a man of many talents.
And lives.
Champion.
Quethe looks towards you, and she considers you for a moment, and then smiles and says, "I will take that under advisement, Taban. I've certainly seen you fight.
Now you should see me wrestle.
Who says you'd win?"
I'm very confident that I wouldn't mind losing.
Is it getting hotter in here?
For me, yes. Not for her so much.
Is Percival again sat between two people flirting and getting awkward?
Yes.
Oh.
He is indeed. Well, actually, I think Volo's sat in the way of a three-way flirt at the minute.
I think certain people in here can perhaps handle the heat better than others.
My dear Taban, We shall find out how well you handle the heat in due time, I'm sure. She smiles. And with your insight, Taban, you do detect that there is the ever so slight hint of menace in there as well. You're not sure if it's a good kind of menace or a bad kind of menace, but there's a certain element.
I'm into it.
Taban's
into it, man. Taban is so into it.
She leans back again and sort of considers the pair of you and says, there is perhaps a favour that you could help me with, but I would need to have the fisherman's friends' trust and help with.
We do need to have another fight so we can get a new name.
That's very true.
Volo, my dear, she looks to him and says, I am terribly sorry to refuse your offer, but I think it is time you headed off. I need to speak to Mr. Silverlight and Taban here alone. Volo takes a moment, takes it a bit on the chin, but he recognizes that the merchant prince has a higher position, so he steps on out. And he makes his farewells and says to you both that he will be waiting for you to conduct your business with Ghelfi, and that he might well go and make use of one of the masseuses after all.
Have one on me, Volo.